Yo, what is up? It's that time, it's that moment. It's Righteous with another video. All right, so I hope you guys have been enjoying your weekend and your holidays and all the good vibes that's been going on. I don't know if you got to see the Super Bowl. I didn't. I'm not much of a football fan, but at the end of the day, I love to hear about events and gatherings like this. And this is going to lead me into the conversation about the Bad Bunny performance. Now, before I start with any of that, I would like to tell you to subscribe, like, and comment because I'm going to be hitting you guys every week with more recaps just like this. So, what did you think of the performance? First off, I want to know what you guys thought. There was a lot of controversy around the fact that Bad Bunny was putting out rumors, or someone was putting out rumors from his team that he was going to show up in a ladylike kind of attire, if you get what I'm saying. And I think that's what caused people to, want to pay attention a little bit more, because I'm not going to lie to you. The man has a lot of fans, and he's on my playlist too, because I'm Hispanic and I understand his music. But number two, he's just very popular. So I want to know what's going on. I want to know why people like his music. But anyway, I think that's the reason why people were trying to tune in, because they were looking like, I want to know what this guy is going to do with his ladylike attire and stuff. Like, is he going to disrespect the flag and da, 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 da. So I feel like that was the reason why he had all these eyeballs on him and people were paying attention. And he did an incredible job by displaying what the music and what the album was about. Because to be honest, a lot of Bad Bunny fans have told me in the past that that album that he put out was mainly about the culture in Puerto Rico and what's going on over there and how he feels about it. He's very proud of his country, and he's very proud to be Latino. He does have a lot of shock value, and people do like him for that. And they do think that he's a little crazy. He's a little fun because of those reasons. He has a lot of hit songs, and people really love him all around the world. So I want to ask you guys, where do you rate the performance? I watched it a few times. I think it has replay value, kind of like Kendrick Lamar's performance as well. They were kind of like similar when it came to viewership. And I don't know, I think that he did a good job. I thought the performance was good. It was solid for me. And like I said, he's in my playlist. I have other preferences though. I have other people that I listen to when it comes to reggaeton. But the fact that he put salsa up there and he put some legends on the spot, I'm not sure about how everybody felt when it came to the performance for Lady Gaga and all these other people, because I don't really watch those people. I thought it was okay. I don't know. I didn't know what to think. From what I could see, there was a marriage that was set up, and people were excited about that. There was, people getting married while the show was going on, before the performance or something like that. I'm not sure. I wasn't watching the Super Bowl, so I don't know what happened when it came to that part of the show. But apparently there was some sort of wedding. And again, there was a performance with him and Lady Gaga. I didn't pay attention to any of it. Like, I was just like noticing that there was a lot of good music being played. And the scenery did look good. I think that everything matched pretty well. The colors and everything was pretty vibrant. I had to rewatch it again. I didn't think it was phenomenal, like super over the top great, but it did land, and it did what it was supposed to do. If I was to rate it from a 1 to 10, I would rate it probably like a 7. Just off of what it did, the influence that it had. People were gathering around to see what this music was about, and then the conversation about Spanish speakers and Hispanic people being taken a little bit more serious, because we've had this conversation multiple times. You know, I don't like to politicize my channel, and that's not something that I really want to do. But the conversation about majority of the people in this country know someone that's Hispanic or went to school with someone that's Hispanic. So when, you know, the conversation is brought up, it shouldn't be about, you know, how come he's not rapping in English? How come there's no presentation in English? You know, when we were in school, this is how it was set up anyway. You know, we just, okay, we're doing Spanish now. You know what I'm saying? And that's it. We're switching the tune. We're changing the direction of where this dance might go or what we might be doing. That's how it was in school. That's how it was everywhere, and that's how it is in life. Sometimes we're gonna listen to hip hop. Sometimes we're gonna listen to country in this literally land that we live in the USA. But then every now and then you might get a reggaeton, you know, performance. You might get like a car passing by with some Spanish music. That's just how it is. It's not introduced how everybody wants it to be sometimes. And then at times, you know, people get a little bit uncomfortable with, like I said, the lady attire and whatnot. And we also have the kid right there, which is supposedly symbolic about what was going on with ICE. Like I said, I don't want to get too political, but you know, it was supposed to be symbolic. You know, giving the Grammy to a 5-year-old kid, which is cool. And then we have the speech. We all know where that went. Again, we don't want to get too political over here, but at the end of the day, I think what Bad Bunny was trying to do landed and it marked. I thought it was a little fishy that he disabled his Instagram. That was a little crazy. I like he was climbing up that pole right there to, like, you know, create different like styles of, you know, imagery and whatnot. I thought that was cool because at the end of the day, Bad Bunny is not a dancer. You feel me? He doesn't play a different instrument or anything like that. He's just a performer, and he's goofy and he's fun. So it was cool that he had some filler like that. You know, he had some like greenery and women dancing and things like that. That was cool. I liked it. It was very interesting and very creative. You know what I'm saying? The attire that he wore, I'm not too crazy about it, but it was still smart. You know, he wore white. He popped out, like he shined. He didn't wear anything over the top when it came to his hairstyle or the shoes. He did his thing, you know, he kept it 100 when it came to representing, and he just kept it like very, almost like basic, to be honest, because usually he does do over the top things, and he does have music like that can be over the top. But it was more about the scenery and about the gathering. He also wanted to, like, you know, represent in a sense, but it was also a conversation about how many countries are Spanish speakers, you know, because that's the thing, you know, there's a lot of countries that are Spanish speakers. And I think that is what's relevant in what he was trying to bring up. So I salute him. Big shout out to him. Like I said, he's not my favorite. He's not my favorite. But yeah, you know, he did a good job. So on to the next one, on to the next conversation. I think we should segue into Lloyd Banks. Lloyd Banks versus Fab. What do you guys think of this? I feel like this is a good conversation. If you're from New York, you know what I'm talking about. You see, like, this battle right here has always been in the conversation in New York. We always would create verses like this all the time. Let me change this because, you know, we ain't talking about Bad Bunny no more. But we would talk about this all the time, bro. All the time. And shout out to all my homies in New York. We used to have a group chat or a Facebook group called Hooks and Verses. It's still on there. Shout out to all those guys, everybody that's doing their thing. We all kind of split ways, and from what I know, I don't know. But we all kind of split ways. We always used to talk about hip hop, and shout out to all my hip hop fans on this channel. But yeah, I gotta choose here, man. I gotta choose. I want to know what you guys think as well. Please don't just think that I'm just talking just to talk. I want to know what you guys think. When I was in high school, Fab was my favorite. You feel me? Fab was definitely my favorite. When I got out of high school, I would say that 50 was more my favorite, and Lloyd Banks was almost like the little brother. So to me, if I had to choose, I would choose Fab, but it wouldn't be by that much. And I'm gonna tell you guys why. They have very similar ways of coming up, because the thing I think that people aren't talking about is the fact that Fab, no one knew how he looked for a while, bro. When I first discovered Fabulous, I thought that he sounded like Mace. And I was like, yo, who is this guy? You know, same thing with Drake, same thing. You know, Drake sounded like Lil Wayne. And no one knew how these people looked. You know, kind of like Mike Towers, same thing. I didn't know how Mike Towers looked for like a year. And I didn't want to know. You feel me? It was one of those things that I didn't want to know. But yeah, when he first came out, it was Fabulous Sport. He was a freestyler. He was always on the mixtapes and stuff like that. I didn't know how he looked. Same thing happened with Lloyd Banks. When I discovered Lloyd Banks, I didn't know how he looked. So I had to listen to him and create like an imagination in order to understand his world. And to be honest with you, Lloyd Banks' freestyle on that Victory beat, man, I played that thing like a million times, bro. I played that thing like a million times. And some of the remixes that they had, they were very impactful on the city. I'll tell you this, 50 and his team, the G Unit and all that, they wouldn't have been taken serious without Lloyd Banks. Because 50 could rap his butt off. I'm not going to cap. He could rap his butt off. But like when he started to become very popular, plus the whole bullet in the cheek didn't help, Lloyd Banks was out there like, yo, I got you, bro. And he was rapping his butt off. But the part for me that makes them different is the fact that Fab came out by himself. He didn't really have help. Yes, he had help because he had features and he had songs that he was on that he featured on as well. And he did have help around him. But as a, you know, solo artist, I should say, he didn't really have all that kind of help. You feel me? Yes, again, there was a collective. But Lloyd Banks, he had a team around him. He had songs with Eminem. You feel me? Those are the biggest artists in the world. You feel me? If not the biggest artist in the world at that time was Eminem. You know, so he had that help and he had that look. And 50 was another huge artist. You feel me? I don't know if I could compare anybody to who Fab was working with that was on that level, especially at that time when 50 was smoking, killing everybody, destroying everybody. And, you know, Fab was basically working with a lot of the same guys that were beefing with 50. So, you know, Fab was like in the middle of all that, but then at the end of the day, he was holding his own. He kind of like fell off when it came to the street fame. No point intended. He started to do his own thing, but like, you know, I think he got caught up in too much of the songs for girls and stuff like that. And I think Lloyd Banks never really hit a home run with that kind of trend of making songs for girls. He had a few, not gonna cap, like the song he has with Joe. That's a good one. You know, Lloyd Banks picks good beats as well. But I feel like the impact when it came to like the freestyles and stuff like that, they're very similar. You know, whether it's someone going on the radio and rapping for an hour or 30 minutes, these guys both did it. You know, Fab rapped with a lot of great rappers that could rap. You know what I'm saying? Like the underground tapes and stuff like that. Fab was out doing it first, you see? So it's not by that much. I would put Fab ahead of Lloyd Banks, but not by that much, because Lloyd could rap his butt off. And to be honest, to rap with Eminem, you You can't just be a slouch. You feel me? But Fab, you know, he really could do it, and everybody knew that. Everybody knew that like, it wasn't a thing that it was like, oh yeah, maybe, you know, he's okay or whatever. No, Fab really could rap. You know, he has some hard tracks, like some tracks that's like, oh, snap. You know, like Breathe, solo. You know what I'm saying? Solo song right there. Needed no help. It's just him holding it down. You know, that song came out in the wintertime, if I'm not mistaken, and everybody was playing that. You see what I'm saying? But that Victory freestyle that Lloyd Banks has, same thing. Everybody was playing it. So I have to give it like almost like a tie, but I give Fab the edge because of the fact that he just has more songs for the females. He was cooler. You see what I'm saying? He's a cooler dude. And then he's more independent. He can do his own thing. He has songs in the West Coast. Before that was super cool to do that. Like he has songs, what's it called? Like Keeping It Gangsta remix. What's the song with him and Nate Dogg? I'm forgetting, but that's another West Coast song. So he was becoming like a bi-coastal artist. And then he had the song with the Neptunes, if I'm not mistaken, you know, the one where he's on the train. I don't know if you guys remember what I'm talking about. But those songs were crazy here in New York, and other places maybe not, but they had an impact here. So I'm gonna say Fab. But if they did a versus, bro, that would be crazy. That would be crazy. That would bring me back to my high school days and right out of high school. So let's move on here. I'm gonna break down some boxing. I want to talk about Mario Barrios and Ryan Garcia. Let's switch this out and add the Mario Barrios and Garcia poster. So I want to do a breakdown on this. I think this is going to be a good fight. But they both have flaws. I kind of looked into the fight. I was researching it, and I do like Garcia. I've always liked him. The new version of him, I'm still trying to catch on because the dude says crazy things all the times. He has calmed down a little bit. He was saying crazier things. He was saying a lot of conspiracy stuff, and then at times he was predicting the weather and things like that. And he was talking about the most craziest things. Then he went on a tangent on Twitter about racism, and he said some racist things at one point. He said something by mistake or whatever. I don't know. He's been apologizing, regretting, and back and forth, back and forth. The outside of the ring, Ryan is really taking over who Ryan is as a boxer. And that's the problem I have with him. Does it make him money? Yes, it does. Because out of nowhere, he started making crazy money. After the Tank fight, he was guaranteed dollars, bro. But if we're talking about Barrios, though, Barrios is a very consistent fighter. So this makes for a potential fight of the year. Is it going to be a fight of the year? I probably doubt it. But I would give it at least like it's going to be like in the top 10, top 20 talks of fight of the year because of the flaws and the fact that they're both Mexican, and then the fact that they're both going to try their hardest to keep or fight for the title, because that WBC boxing belt, bro, that belt is like that's like a big deal for Mexicans, bro. It's a huge deal. And Barrios is a champ right now. He's been defending it. Okay, he didn't knock out Pacquiao. We all know that. We all know that he should have done more. He is 30 years old, so he should have done more on Pacquiao. He should have hurt Pacquiao. He should have put him down. But a lot of people have respect for Pacquiao. And then on top of that, Pacquiao was just faster than him. Let's just keep it a buck. He was faster than him. And I think that's the flaw that Barrios has. He just relies on his jab too much, and sometimes he can be a little bit robotic. So that's why this fight might turn into some kind of fight where it's like rock'em sock'em. these guys just going to be hitting each other, and neither one might not go down, because I think from what I've seen, Barrios has a great chin. I've never seen him like knocked out or anything. I've seen him rocked. You know, Keith Thurman put the beats on him. But he still held his ground, and he still wobbled Keith Thurman. Garcia, same thing. I've seen him dropped. I've seen him hurt, but he's a tough guy. I just don't see, you know, the technique like that. I see that he's fast. You know, he doesn't have much of a jab like Barrios does, and his balance can be a little iffy. You know what I mean? But like I said, he's fast. So let's see what happens. I'm giving Barrios the edge. I'm picking Barrios for split decision. But this could go either way. I could see Barrios getting screwed as well. I could see a split decision for Garcia. But my choice is going to be Barrios. I think Barrios should go to the body. I think he needs to switch it up. He starts to headhunt a little too much, and then he gets trapped in his own world where he's just like, I need a jab, I need a jab, I need a jab. Like, nah, dude, you got to mix it up. You got to throw some combos out there. You got to look a little different. But he's a very tough guy, and sometimes he waits for the fight to come to him. But I think he shouldn't do that with Ryan. Ryan is like crazy at times. Like, you know, the technique is not always there from Ryan, but yo, this is not somebody you want to play with either, bro. Like Ryan, low key, he can turn Super Saiyan on you, bro. Ryan can go crazy on you. Yeah, I don't know if you want to play that game with him, man. I don't know if you want to play that game with him, but I'm giving Barrios the edge because of the consistency. You know, how professional he is. You know, like I said, it's a Mexican matchup. This is another way to fix what you couldn't do versus Pacquiao, because he's had some headliners already. You know, versus Thurman, that was a headliner. He fought Tank. You know, Barrios has the experience. He has a good resume. And now he has the belt. From what I understand, Garcia's never had a world title. So what's a good way to put him in his place? Shut him up and get him out the way. This is exactly what will happen, because Garcia's value will go down. You know, losing to Cerrone, I don't think that's a big deal right now, but in the future, it will look bad if he loses to Barrios as well. So this should be a good fight. Right now, I'm giving Barrios the edge. If I see something different, I might change. Who knows? But right now, I'm sticking to Barrios because of his consistency. Let me know what you guys think. I think this should be a good fight. It should be a little bit more explosive than what we saw a few Saturdays ago, which was Shakur versus Teofimo Lopez. So now let's move on to more boxing. And we're going to go to the Zuffa belt. I think that this is an interesting topic as well. Let me know what you guys think about it. Let's see here. Try to pop it up. Guys. See. Here we go. All right. So Dana White ensured the inaugural Zuffa Boxing Championship would crown his first world title holder by signing an actual world champion and completely removing his sanctioning body belt. White replaced it with the Zuffa belt. So if Jay Opatatia, sorry if I butchered that, wins on March 8th, his new strap gets undeniable and instant world title recognition. It may not be popular, but it's a smart move. So basically, this belt right here is going to replace Jay's belt. And what's going to happen is that this belt is going to be like the PBC belt. I don't know if you guys remember that, but I don't know. I don't think these kind of belts go well. I don't think people care about new belts. You know what I'm saying? And it doesn't look bad. It really does look like a wrestling belt or a new belt that's kind of different looking. It's black, so it's different. It does have like the little green, red, and blue, which is like some of the symbolism of like America and Mexico and this and that. And I'm just going off of how the belt looks, the representation and what the belt means for boxing. I still don't see a big impact, but I will tell you that from what I saw on this guy, Jay, you know, what I've seen in like his resume and whatnot, I will say that his resume looks pretty impressive. You know what I'm saying? He has a pretty good resume, and he's undefeated. He has a bunch of knockouts. I think that that's a good start. You know what I'm saying? To have a champion there and have someone represent your title. He's an IBF champion and Ring Magazine champion. So those are very serious boxing belts in boxing. It's very recognized. You see what I'm saying? So if you got someone like that holding your belt and he's defending it for multiple fights on out, you might have some success. You see what I'm saying? But to say that this belt is going to be world class and super recognized like that, I don't know. But you know, these belts like that, you know, they come and go. You know what I'm saying? They come and go. But to say that the belt looks bad, it doesn't look cheesy to me. I think it actually looks pretty good. I think it looks better than some of these belts. I don't like the WBO belt, to be honest. And the IBF belt, I think that one looks cool, but it's not as recognized as, IBO, I'm sorry. The IBF belt looks cool. The red one, that one looks fire. But the IBO, that one looks cool and it's not as recognized. So I don't know. What do you guys think of the belt? Just the design. Let's just talk about the design. You know, I don't want to get too much into the politics of the belt because we obviously know that Zuffa is new. So a lot of people are going to criticize it. They're going to have their ways of talking about it and things like that. But let's just talk about the design and what this could mean for Jay. If Jay, you know, says, you know, I can't work with these titles no more. I can't do Ring Magazine and I can't work with IBF no more. Because that's what they're saying in this article right here. They're saying that the belt has to be dropped. He can't rock with the other belts no more. He can't look like a title holder for IBF or Ring Magazine anymore. So that part is kind of crazy. See what I'm saying? Like, this is like tournament style, league style, like basically like excluding him out of rankings. Like, do you agree? Like, he's being told to pay to play. You feel me? Like, do you guys think this is cool, or does it work for you? I don't know. I like the belt though. All right, so let's go back into a different topic. And again, I don't want to talk too much craziness about politics, but let's go into the conversation about Amanda. What is her name? I don't know. I know her name is Amanda, and I know that she is under what's his name? Jake Paul. And Amanda didn't like what Jake Paul had to say when it came to Puerto Rico and whatnot. So I'm trying to look up the article right now. But I can't find it. Crazy. Anyway, it should be this link right here. Yeah. I thought that this was interesting. I thought that she did a good job by saying, you know what? I box for Puerto Rico. I'm from there. I'm a representative. You can't speak for me. You know, there was just like a little bit of a back and forth, you know? And I thought that was cool. I think what it is that Jake Paul is not boxing right now. He's hurt and he has to be the villain. So I found that to be interesting. Another thing is his brother. I don't even know these guys' names sometimes. Like, I don't care about them sometimes. But his brother, the guy that wrestles for WWE, he came out and says that he does not agree with Jake Paul either. So, you know, they were just stealing a little bit of thunder there. But I wanted to know what you guys think about that. I thought that was pretty cool. Like I said, I don't like to politicize too much on the channel, but I don't lean really too much anywhere. I just like to laugh and look at things and, you know, wonder if things are going to change. Because to be honest, I sometimes feel like a lot of this stuff is just for publicity. It's just propaganda. You feel me? But Amanda Serrano is a legend in boxing. She should be able to say how she feels. You feel me? Especially if there's a Puerto Rican performer out there for, the Super Bowl and whatnot. You see what I'm saying? But do I agree 100%? Come on. Come on, man. We all know what's up. Things happen, man. Things happen. And Bad Bunny, he did his thing by swerving the public, by making them think, oh, I might put on a dress. And then when you go check out what he's doing, that man ain't doing none of that. And then another thing is that I think right before the performance, he said that he wasn't gonna do it. So it's like he kept it a buck, and that's why I think some people just need to kind of mind their own business. You feel me? Like Jake Paul, like you got nothing to do with this, bro. You got nothing to do with the Super Bowl performance. But he wanted to voice his opinion. Oh well. Anyway, let's go into the topic of Floyd Mayweather suing Showtime, which I thought was crazy. I never thought I would see this. And for the amount of money that he said that he was going to be suing Showtime, that really threw me off, bro. That really threw me off. I couldn't believe it. $340 million with an M. They say that from 2012 to 2014, the boxer said he has been shortchanged and filed a multi-million-dollar lawsuit against Showtime. The lawsuit filed Tuesday and obtained by ESPN seeks to recover hundreds of millions of dollars in misappropriation funds and damages resulting from a long-running and elaborate scheme of financial fraud, breaches of fiduciary duty, and conspiracy orchestrated by Floyd Mayweather Jr., former manager and advisor Al Haymon, with the knowing of substantial participation and aid of defendants Showtime Networks and Steven Espinosa, amongst others. Wow. Mayweather fought 8 times on Showtime PPV, with Pacquiao bout still standing as the highest grossing pay-per-view in history with over 4.4 million purchases and 410 million in revenue generated. Mayweather reportedly earned around 250 million for that fight alone. In the lawsuit, Mayweather says Showtime and Espinosa worked in tandem to divert the boxer's earning into accounts controlled by Haymon and failed to provide financial transparency. Mayweather says that he has suffered enormous financial harm and is missing at least 340 from his reported 1.2 billion in his career fight purses. Mayweather retired from professional wrestling 2017 with the 50-0 record, blah blah blah. This is no mention of the McGregor fight, because that was another one that was crazy. And I remember when he fought Robert Guerrero, Canelo Alvarez, and Marco Maidana twice. Andre Berto. Yeah. Am I surprised? No, not at all. At all. Because the thing is, when these guys would have issues with PBC, I knew right then and there that this was not going to last. They were spending way too much money. And the problem is that Floyd Mayweather is not just a boxer. You Floyd fans, I don't know how you guys feel about it. I haven't seen you guys talking in the threads and all that like that in the past few years. It's been a while since I've hit those threads up. But to be honest with you, Floyd Mayweather is not an average boxer. He's not just like, any other guy. He's a manager too. He's a promoter as well. So, you know what I'm saying? He's gonna have issues because if I'm not mistaken, he was like a silent owner of PBC. He's one of the people that ran PBC. A lot of those fights, you will see him in the crowd. You knew who his guy was. So why are we playing crazy? You know what I'm saying? Steven Espinosa, there's been talks about him being corrupt. I don't know. I've heard of him in the past. He's been with Showtime forever. So good luck with that one. Good luck with getting that man in trouble, because I've seen him go through a lot of craziness and it's almost like he's untouchable. But let's see what happens. If they have proof, cool. I want to see what's up. But what I am already noticing is that there's going to be a lot of snitching happening right here, because these people have been working together for years and there's a lot of money on the line. You're talking about $340 million. Are you kidding me? Man, there's going to be a lot of snitching going on. A lot of money that was going in different places. And when you got somebody old school like Al Haymon, that man has paperwork on you. Trust me, he has paperwork on everybody. And another thing is, he would do a lot of favors, but the way that he wrote his contracts, they were old school 1960, 70 dirtbag, music style contracts. Like we're talking about like the Jackson 5 kind of contracts and stuff like that. These are old school tactics. So am I surprised? No, not at all. But this is who Floyd Mayweather wanted to get with. And as a journalist, I'll tell you, well, I'm going to say I'm a semi-journalist or whatever you guys want to consider me. I don't know which one to consider me. I'm just Rap Cabo anyway. But from what I've been researching and whatnot, Al Haymon doesn't have not one interview on the internet that I've seen ever. I've never seen that man talk for over 30 seconds, not even 10 seconds, I think. I've seen him standing in some corners. I've seen him in the crowd. And I've seen people like try to get a conversation with him and he's like a ghost. Like this man doesn't have any relation with the public. And they had other people claiming to be kind of like in the place of Al Haymon, but in actuality, they're not Al Haymon. Al Haymon is the one signing the papers, and these people will be representative of the Floyd Mayweather promotions or PBC or any of that, and they would act as if they are Al Haymon, and they weren't. So this has been going on for years. Leonard Ellerby is the guy I'm talking about. People would think that he's the man in charge, but really he was just a representative. And I think he was a manager too for some boxers. But yeah, there's gonna be a lot of snitching going on. A lot. And this is why I think Tank as well is having issues. I think this is why his career is gonna be in limbo, because these are the people who ran his career. And this is another reason why we didn't see the big fights that we should have seen, when it came to Tank's career and whatnot. He should have fought more fighters. He should have challenged himself. I think he should have fought Lomachenko a long time ago. There's so many guys he could have fought. I don't care about the weight class. You see what I'm saying? Like, I don't care about that. But the advisors and people that we're talking about, they have people that research and they know if Tank, could beat these guys that he's going to fight, or if they're going to, give him trouble and stuff like that. At times they wanted him to have some trouble so it could look realistic and not look like they're handpicking fighters that they could destroy. You know what I'm saying? But come on, man. If I'm not mistaken, people question Tank fighting Leah Santa Cruz. He never really fought at that weight class. You see what I'm saying? Like, we've always seen weird things that would happen. It's like, why is Floyd fighting Robert Guerrero when he could be fighting Timothy Bradley? You see what I'm saying? Like, just weird things. You see what I'm saying? Like, we've been noticing this for a while, but the lawsuit, this is going to go on for a while. because there's so much paperwork, and I'm pretty sure that they'll settle out. They'll find an agreement, and they'll just find a way to make this go away, because they're still doing business with Showtime. These people are still in business. They can't just have this looming over their head. And Floyd Mayweather Jr. is tied to a lot of boxers. Like, I don't know, but I don't know how you feel about this. But like, to be honest, Floyd Mayweather and Al Haymon, they're kind of like the same person almost. So for them to publicly be coming out like this and arguing, this is going to be settled quickly. Trust me. But if it doesn't get settled, there's going to be hella snitching going on. Let me know what you guys think. I'm going to continue to try to put on some more shows for you guys. We might have a surprise for the show. We might have a surprise guest. Hopefully you guys are liking what I'm putting out there. If you do, like, subscribe, comment. If you want me to talk about more topics, feel free to add to the conversation. My research style is kind of limited because I look at so many things, and there's so much stuff going on that it's hard for me to lock in on all these things, and I don't have time like that. You see what I'm saying? I got a job, I got a 9 to 5, and I can't leave that. Like, that's what pays my bills. And for now, that's gonna take up most of my time. But when it comes to, like, the J. Cole album, I want to talk about that, but I can't because I haven't heard the whole album. The album is pretty good, and from what I understand, it's a double album, so there's 24 songs on there. I can't listen to 24 songs in one shot like that. I'm not 14, you feel me? Like, the album sounds really good to me. So far, so good. Production sounds good, but I haven't heard all 24 songs. Another person I've been listening to, Dave East dropped a song with Joyner Lucas. I like that one. It's called Traffic. Check that one out. I heard that there's a conversation of Jadakiss versus Common. I want to talk about that. But again, I don't have all the time in the world, but I'm still going to try to bring that to the show. So if you guys want me to bring up these subjects, please let me know. So like that, I can make sure that I hit those topics for you guys. And that is it. That is all, my guys. Let's try to keep boxing alive. And let me know if you're going to be watching the Mario Barrios versus Garcia fight. I'm excited for it. I think the lineup is pretty good too. The undercard looks good. So I'm excited. All right, guys. Peace out.